What makes the perfect base building game? Is it the freedom to create anything you imagine? The satisfaction of watching your settlement grow from a single foundation to a sprawling fortress? Or maybe it's that addictive feeling when you finally place that last wall and step back to admire your masterpiece? Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're counting down the top 10 games with the most satisfying, most detailed, and downright best base building systems you can play in 2025. We're talking everything from medieval city builders to space stations, from survival shelters to industrial factories. And here's the twist, we're doing a reverse countdown, starting at number 10 and building our way up to the absolute king of base building. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which game deserves your building time. Before we jump in, if you love base building as much as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's build something amazing. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 10, we have Green Hell, and while it's known for being brutally realistic, its base building system is surprisingly satisfying in a primal back-to-basics kind of way. Available on PC via Steam, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series XS, and even Nintendo Switch, Green Hell puts you deep in the Amazon rainforest where you're building shelter from absolutely nothing. Now, the base building here isn't about elaborate castles or modern fortresses, it's about survival construction at its most fundamental. You're starting with stick frames and palm leaves, gradually unlocking mud walls, bamboo structures, and eventually more permanent stone foundations. What makes it work is how grounded everything feels. You're not magically snapping prefab buildings together. You're actually constructing walls piece by piece, choosing where support beams go, and watching your shelter take shape organically. The building system includes crafting stations that need to be strategically placed around your camp, water collectors, drying racks for food, and even gardens for sustainable living. You can build multiple structures and connect them, creating these authentic jungle compounds that feel earned. And here's the thing, because the environment is so hostile with its weather, diseases, and predators, there's genuine satisfaction in creating that safe haven where you can finally breathe. The game also features a bamboo construction set that unlocks later, letting you build more elaborate structures with elevated floors. Super important when floods and jaguars are concerned. You can customize your base with decorations, weapon racks, and storage solutions. It's not the most advanced building system on this list, but there's something deeply rewarding about the progression from a basic lean-to to a fortified jungle homestead. Green Hell proves that base building doesn't need to be complex to be satisfying. Sometimes the simple act of creating shelter in a hostile world is enough. If you want that Robinson Crusoe experience where every plank and every wall matters, this is your entry point. Coming in at number 9 is ICARUS, and this one has a unique twist on base building that some people love and others find frustrating, but hear me out on why it works. Available exclusively on PC via Steam, ICARUS is a session-based survival game from the team at Rocketworks, the creators of DayZ. You're prospectors dropping onto this terraformed planet that went horribly wrong, and you've got limited time to build, gather resources, and extract before you lose everything. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, I lose my base? Yes and no. Here's the genius of it. There's two modes. In the mission-based mode, you're building temporary bases knowing they'll be gone, which actually creates this intense, focused building experience. You're not overthinking. You're building what you need to survive and complete objectives. But then there's Outpost mode, where you build permanently, and that's where the real base building shines. The building system itself is incredibly detailed. You start with basic thatch and wood structures, but you can progress through stone, concrete, and eventually high-tech materials. The modular construction system lets you build everything from simple shelters to elaborate multi-story compounds with electricity, automated defenses, and even biodomes for farming. What I love is the engineering aspect. You can set up conveyor systems, automated ore processors, and complex power grids using solar panels and biofuel generators. Your base isn't just a house, it's a functioning industrial operation. Plus, the game supports up to 8 players in co-op, so you can build massive collaborative settlements. The building pieces snap together satisfyingly, and there's enough variety to create unique structures. You've got different wall types, window configurations, doors with actual locking mechanisms, and furniture that serves functional purposes. The game even simulates structural integrity, so you need to think about support beams and foundations. ICARUS continues to get substantial updates. They just added new biomes and building sets with their recent expansions. The developers are actively adding more construction options, and the community is constantly showing off incredible base designs. Yeah, the session-based nature takes getting used to, but once you embrace it or switch to outpost mode, you've got one of the more technically impressive building systems out there. The game's got that satisfying weight to construction that makes every completed building feel substantial. At number 8, we're heading to space with ASTROMETICA, a game that takes base building to the final frontier. Currently in early access on PC via Steam since December 2024, ASTROMETICA puts you in the role of a survivor from a mining station disaster, and you're building bases across asteroids and space stations in this beautiful, dangerous cosmos. The base building here is modular and three-dimensional in a way most games don't attempt. You're not building on flat ground, you're constructing on floating asteroids, inside abandoned stations, and across zero-gravity environments. The construction system uses a tile-based approach where you're placing floor tiles, wall sections, and connecting modules to create functional space habitats. What makes ASTROMETICA special is how purposeful every structure needs to be. You're building airlocks that actually matter, oxygen generation rooms, solar panel arrays that need to face the sun, and pressurized living quarters. Your base isn't just for show, it's your life support system. You need to plan power distribution with cables and batteries, set up automated mining drills on resource-rich asteroids, and create storage facilities for all your materials. The game lets you build across multiple locations, so you can establish a main base on one asteroid and set up smaller outposts elsewhere. There's something incredibly satisfying about looking out from your custom-built space station and seeing another one of your bases floating in the distance. You can connect structures with corridors, create multi-level facilities, and even customize the interior with workbenches, research stations, and personal quarters. Now, I'll be honest, ASTROMETICA is still in early access, and some players have mentioned the developer has been quiet lately with updates, which is always a concern, but what's there right now is genuinely impressive for a small team. The foundation is solid, and the core building mechanics work beautifully. You've got automated mining that feeds resources back to your main base, which is that satisfying factory building loop we all love. The visual design is gorgeous too. Watching your base light up against the darkness of space as you expand it piece by piece never gets old. If you're into sci-fi base building and want something different from the usual planet-based survival games, ASTROMETICA offers a unique experience. Just go in knowing it's early access and set your expectations accordingly. For space-based building enthusiasts, this one's worth watching. Number 7 brings us Lost Rift, a fresh take on base building that mixes PvE settlement construction with high-stakes PvPvE extraction gameplay. Released into Steam Early Access on September 25th, 2025 for PC, Lost Rift comes from People Can Fly, the studio behind Bulletstorm and Outriders, so you know the action's gonna be tight. You're washing up on Pioneer's Landing, a safe island that becomes your personal base building paradise, while venturing out to dangerous islands for resources and loot. Here's what makes Lost Rift's base building interesting. Your home island is completely yours. It's a full square kilometer of buildable space where other players can never raid you. This means you can actually invest time in building without worrying about logging in to find everything destroyed. A huge relief for those of us burned by Rust-style games. The building system uses a modular, tile-based approach that's surprisingly robust. You can build practically anywhere on Pioneer's Landing, from beaches to forests to cliff sides. The construction options range from basic wooden shacks to elaborate multi-story structures with stone walls, defensive positions, and custom layouts. What I appreciate is how functional everything feels. You're not just building for aesthetics, you're creating crafting stations, storage warehouses, farms, and defensive structures. The game features over 100 quests that gradually unlock new building materials and recipes, so there's genuine progression. You start with basic wooden foundations and walls, but you can eventually build with stone, metal, and advanced materials. The building pieces include walls with window cutouts, different door types, roofing options, and interior furniture that actually serves purposes. One of the cooler features is the ability to build defensive structures like walls and towers, because while players can't raid your base, NPCs definitely can. The game has raid mechanics where you need to defend against waves of enemies, which gives purpose to those walls and turrets you're placing. Now, Lost Rift is still very new in early access, having just launched in September, and the reviews are mixed, currently sitting at 68% positive. Some players are frustrated with the PvP balance on the Extraction Islands, and there are definitely some rough edges. But the base building on Pioneer's Landing, that part's solid. The developers are actively updating it. They just pushed fixes this week, and the roadmap promises more building options. If you want that feeling of building a permanent homestead that you can actually keep while also having the option for high-risk, high-reward expeditions, Lost Rift offers an interesting middle ground. The base building won't blow your mind, but it's satisfying, functional, and most importantly, safe from griefers.
Save yourself. Survive the realms. And rebuild all that has been lost.
Sliding into number 6 is Nightingale, a game that combines Victorian gas lamp fantasy with estate building in the mysterious Fey realms. Currently in early access on PC via Steam and Epic Games Store since February 2024, Nightingale had a bit of a rocky launch, but the developers at Inflection Games have been steadily transforming it into something special. And from a base building perspective, this game has some genuinely unique ideas. The core concept is building estates. Not just bases, but proper Victorian mansions and settlements using an elaborate tile set system. You're working with architectural pieces that actually snap together to form coherent structures. We're talking stone foundations, wooden frames, various wall types with wallpaper options, different roof styles, windows with actual glass panes, and doors with intricate designs. The aesthetic is pure Victorian elegance meets fantasy, and it's gorgeous. What sets Nightingale apart is the level of interior customization. You're not just building walls, you're decorating entire estates with functional furniture, workstations, storage solutions, and decorative items. The game has hundreds of building and crafting recipes, and you're encouraged to make your estate feel lived in. You can build libraries, bedrooms, workshops, kitchens, and even conservatories. The furniture isn't just for show either. Beds let you rest, chairs provide comfort bonuses, and different crafting stations are needed for progression. The building system also allows for impressive scale. You can create massive multi-story estates with balconies, towers, and courtyards. The tile sets include multiple architectural styles, so you can mix and match or keep everything uniform. One of the recent updates added even more building flexibility, including increased structure limits and improved building tools. Here's something cool. Nightingale now has an offline mode, which was a huge community request. You can build without needing an internet connection, which is perfect for those long building sessions. The game also features a comfort system where well-furnished, aesthetically pleasing estates provide actual gameplay bonuses. Now, I'll be real with you, Nightingale still has that early access feel in some areas. The game currently has mixed reviews on Steam at 68% positive, and some players feel the world can feel empty despite how beautiful it is. But from a pure base building standpoint, the estate system is one of the more elegant implementations I've seen. The Realms Rebuilt update that dropped earlier this year overhauled the progression system and added more structure to the building experience. If you're into building beautiful, detailed Victorian estates in a fantasy setting, and you don't mind supporting an early access game that's actively being improved, Nightingale offers something different. Plus, it was just free on Epic Games Store in October, so there's a fresh influx of players. The base building here is about creating a home that feels like a refuge from the dangerous Fey Wilds, and it succeeds at that fantasy. At number 5, we've got STARRUPTURE, and this one's for players who like their base building with a heavy dose of industrial automation and factory management. Coming to Steam Early Access on January 6, 2026 from Creepy Jar, the same team behind Green Hell, STARRUPTURE takes the survival-based building formula and adds a Factorio-inspired twist. You're a prisoner on the planet Arcadia 7, forced to build factories and gather resources for faceless corporations, all while dealing with a star that periodically wipes the surface clean in apocalyptic ruptures. The base building here is all about industrial systems. You're not just constructing shelters, you're building entire automated production facilities. The game features complex resource chains where raw materials need to be processed through multiple stages. You'll set up mining drills on resource nodes, connect them with conveyor belts to processing facilities, smelt ores into usable materials, and automate production lines to craft everything you need. What makes this exciting is the scale you can achieve. You can build massive factories with multiple production lines running simultaneously, power grids using generators and power distributors, and storage systems to handle all your materials. The building system uses a modular approach where you're placing foundations, walls, and machinery in a way that creates efficient layouts. And because you can play with up to 4 friends in co-op, you can collaborate on building these enormous industrial complexes. But here's the twist. Remember those ruptures I mentioned? Periodically, the planet's star goes supernova and wipes the surface clean with fire and destruction. This creates a unique building challenge. You need to design bases that can either withstand the rupture or be quickly rebuilt after. There are underground areas and protective measures you can take, which adds strategic depth to base placement and construction. The game also features base defense elements because you're not alone on this planet. Hostile alien creatures attack your facilities, so you need to incorporate defensive structures into your builds. Walls, turrets, and defensive positions become essential parts of your industrial base design. Now, STARRUPTURE did get pushed back from its original 2025 release date, which always raises some concerns, but the developers have been transparent about needing more polished time. They recently ran a successful 2-week playtest that generated a lot of positive buzz. The Unreal Engine 5 visuals look stunning. They actually traveled to Iceland to capture realistic harsh environment references, and the gameplay footage shows a really sophisticated building system. If you're into games like Satisfactory, Factorio, or Dyson Sphere Program, but you want it with a survival twist and co-op support, STARRUPTURE is shaping up to be something special. The combination of factory building, automation, co-op play, and that ever-present threat of planetary destruction creates a unique pressure cooker building experience. Keep this one on your radar for early 2026. Taking the number 4 spot is LEN'S Island, a game that fully released from early access on June 19th, 2025 after almost 4 years of development, and the building system here is genuinely impressive. Available on PC via Steam, LEN'S Island is what happens when you take action RPG dungeon crawling, farming simulation, and open world exploration, then tie it all together with one of the most satisfying building systems in any survival game. It's currently sitting at 83% very positive reviews, and after playing it, I understand why. The building system is what the developers call a modular tile-based approach, and it's incredibly intuitive once you get the hang of it. Unlike games where you're just placing pre-made building pieces, LEN'S Island lets you customize structures at a granular level. You're placing individual floor tiles, wall sections, roof pieces, and then customizing them with different materials and styles. What I love is the freedom this system provides. Want to build a cozy cottage on the beach? Done. A massive castle on a mountain? Go for it. An elaborate multi-building compound with gardens, workshops, and warehouses? Absolutely. The building tools include snapping mechanics that make construction smooth, and you can rotate, raise, and position pieces with precision. The game features multiple building material tiers, starting with basic wood, progressing through stone, and eventually unlocking more advanced materials as you explore dungeons and progress through the story. Each material type has different textures and aesthetic properties, so you can create structures with unique looks. The Gothic building style DLC adds even more architectural options if you want to build dark, moody structures. But here's where it gets really good. The 1.0 full release in June added a completely revamped building system with even more flexibility. You can now build practically anywhere on the archipelago across multiple islands, create elevated structures on platforms, build underground rooms and cellars, and construct bridges connecting different areas. The recent update also improved the building UI and added structure templates that you can save and reuse. Interior decoration is robust too. You've got hundreds of furniture items, crafting stations, storage solutions, and decorative objects. The game has a comfort system where well-furnished homes provide buffs, encouraging you to actually decorate rather than just build empty shells. You can place crafting tables, furnaces, beds, chairs, paintings, plants, basically everything you need to make your base feel like an actual home. One of the coolest features is the Steam Workshop integration. You can design elaborate structures, save them as blueprints, and share them with the community, or download other players' designs and incorporate them into your world. This adds incredible value because you can learn from other builders or just find inspiration. The 1.0 release also added 8-player online co-op, so you can build together with friends. Imagine 7 friends all working on constructing a massive collaborative settlement. That's peak base building right there. The game's procedurally generated world means every playthrough offers new building locations and opportunities. And it's not just building for building's sake. Your base serves gameplay purposes. You need farms for food, workshops for crafting advanced gear, storage for the massive amounts of loot you'll gather from dungeons, and comfortable living spaces for the buff system. Everything you build has a purpose, which makes every structure feel meaningful. If you want a building system that balances freedom with structure, offers genuine progression, and exists in a beautiful, varied world with actual content to support your building habit, LEN'S Island absolutely delivers. It's the complete package.
I cannot imagine we would ever want to stoop to this kind of familiarity with our peasants. Their interactions are said to be quite dynamic.
That would be a great exchange.
Thank you, my lord.
But before long, Greenwood could become a thing of beauty. It is all very exciting to have a new lord in the realm. One may find great pleasure in following their progress.
Coming in at number 3 is Noble Legacy, and this medieval city builder puts you literally on the ground with your people while you construct an entire kingdom from rubble. Released into early access on Steam on August 12th, 2025, Noble Legacy comes from Studio 369 and does something unique. It combines traditional city builder construction with third-person character control. You're not some distant god clicking buildings into existence. You're walking your kingdom's streets as the lord, physically overseeing construction and interacting with your villagers. The building system here is where things get really interesting. You've got two construction approaches: prefab buildings and completely custom structures. The prefab system includes over 100 pre-designed buildings, homes, workshops, taverns, guard towers, monuments, and more. These are fully detailed structures you can place and customize, which is perfect for quickly growing your settlement. But the custom building is where Noble Legacy truly shines. The modular construction system lets you build structures piece by piece, wall by wall, floor by floor. You're selecting foundation types, wall materials, wood, stone, brick, different window configurations, door styles, roofing options with multiple shapes and materials, and interior layouts. Want a 2-story tavern with a stone base and wooden upper floor? Build it. A massive castle with towers, battlements, and a great hall? It's possible. What's impressive is the level of detail in the decoration system. You're not just building structures, you're furnishing them. Every building can be customized with furniture, lighting, decorations, and functional items. Place tables and chairs in your tavern, beds in the inn, forges in the blacksmith, storage chests and warehouses, everything. The game even lets you choose the type of torches lighting up buildings. This granular control creates incredibly personal settlements. The city builder mechanics are deep too. You're managing resource production chains, lumber mills, stone quarries, farms, hunting lodges, fishing huts, and mines. These buildings need to be strategically placed based on resources, and you're creating supply chains where raw materials flow to processing buildings to create finished goods. Your villagers have different skills and preferences, and you're assigning them to roles that match their abilities. Noble Legacy also features a monument system where you construct structures of cultural importance, statues, fountains, grand buildings that affect your settlement's development and villager happiness. These aren't just functional, they're about building a legacy, as the name suggests. The game includes a tile-based building menu that's being continually expanded with updates. You can create elaborate road networks with different paving types, build defensive walls around your settlement, construct farms with multiple crop types, and even design the layout of entire districts within your kingdom. There's also Steam Workshop support, so you can share your building designs or use templates from other players. Now, Noble Legacy is still in early access. It just launched a couple months ago, and currently sits at 72% mostly positive reviews. Some players mentioned the combat needs work and there are bugs being ironed out, but the base building and city construction, that's solid. The developers are actively updating it based on community feedback, and they've already confirmed multiplayer co-op is coming, which will let you build kingdoms with friends. The game provides that satisfying arc of starting with ruins and basic structures, then gradually building your way up to a thriving medieval city with castles, marketplaces, residential districts, and grand monuments. If you've ever wanted to physically walk through a city you built from nothing, watching your villagers go about their lives in buildings you designed, Noble Legacy delivers that fantasy. Taking the silver medal at number 2 is Fallout 76, and from a base building perspective, this game has evolved into something really special. Available on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Series X or S, Fallout 76's camp, construction and assembly mobile platform system has become one of the most feature-rich building systems in any online survival game, and with over 7 years of consistent updates since its 2018 launch, there's an absurd amount of building content here. Let's talk about what makes the CAMP system great. You can build practically anywhere in Appalachia and soon Ohio with the Burning Springs update. Your camp is portable. You can pack it up and move to new locations, which is incredibly convenient. The building system uses a modular snap-together approach where you're placing foundations, walls, roofs, stairs, and decorative elements to create structures limited only by your imagination and the build budget. The variety of building materials is staggering. You've got basic wood structures, metal buildings, brick walls, concrete foundations, prefab buildings, and dozens of themed building sets. There's contemporary, warehouse, log cabin, barn, and even Atomic Shop exclusive sets like Raider-themed structures, clean contemporary pieces, and holiday-themed items. Recent updates added the CAMP revamp with relaxed building rules, a completely reworked workshop menu, and item locking so other players can't accidentally scrap your stuff. But where Fallout 76 really excels is in the decorative depth. We're talking thousands of decoration items, furniture, lighting, wall decorations, floor decorations, workbenches, displays, neon signs, posters, rugs, plants, and collectibles. You can create themed builds, a cozy cabin with fireplaces and bookshelves, a high-tech laboratory with terminals and medical equipment, a bar or restaurant with brewing stations and seating areas, a museum displaying rare weapons and armor, or even a haunted house with spooky decorations. The game's shelter system adds even more building potential. Shelters are instanced underground spaces with their own separate build budgets, giving you essentially unlimited building space. There are different shelter types, utility rooms, atriums, lobbies, each with unique dimensions and purposes. Players have built incredible things in shelters, full restaurants with kitchens, elaborate maze-like dungeons, multi-room hotels, and even recreations of locations from other Fallout games. Fallout 76 also has a full electrical system. You can wire up generators to power lights, security systems, turrets, and even arcade machines. The game includes switches, pressure plates, and logic gates for creating automated systems. Players have built everything from functional light shows to complex Rube Goldberg machines to fully automated resource collectors. The crafting station integration is seamless. Your camp needs workbenches for armor, weapons, chemistry, cooking, and more. But you can hide these utilitarian items or incorporate them into your build's design. The game encourages both functional and aesthetic building. One of my favorite features is the ally system. You can recruit NPCs to live at your camp, and they provide quests, dialogue, and life to your settlement. Combined with vendors and the recent addition of camp pets, your base becomes a living, breathing place rather than an empty shell. The community aspect is huge too. You can visit other players' camps, get inspiration, purchase items from their vendors, and even take photos with photo mode. The Fallout 76 community has built some absolutely incredible structures, replicas of real buildings, elaborate theme parks, floating sky bases, and even working factories. Now, with December's Burning Springs update, we're getting even more. New building items tied to the Ohio wasteland, new workshops, and continued expansion of the camp system. Bethesda has proven they're committed to making base building better with every update. Why isn't it number one then? Well, there is that pesky build budget that limits how much you can place. And while the variety is incredible, the actual building mechanics, the snapping, the placement can sometimes be finicky. But for pure content, variety, and the ability to create genuinely unique bases that other players can visit and appreciate, Fallout 76 is right up there with the best. Finally, taking the #1 spot as the ultimate base building game is Rising World. Available in early access on PC via Steam, Rising World has been in development for over a decade, and the developers have spent that time creating what I genuinely believe is the most powerful, most flexible, and most satisfying building system in any survival game. Let me explain why this is #1. Rising World uses a voxel-based building system combined with precision placement tools that give you creative freedom that's genuinely unmatched. You're not limited to preset building pieces. You can shape blocks, beams, planks, and cylinders at virtually any size and angle you want. Want a wall that's exactly 2.3 meters tall with a 15-degree slope? Done. Need a custom-sized beam to span a specific distance? No problem. The building materials system is incredibly deep. You've got different wood types: oak, pine, birch, each with unique textures. Stone varieties: granite, limestone, sandstone, metals, iron, steel, copper, glass, and even specialized materials like marble and concrete. Each material can be textured, painted, and shaped. The recent updates added even more material options and improved the textures to look stunning. But the real magic is in the construction blocks themselves. You've got planks for walls and floors, beams for structural support, cylinders for pillars and rounded elements, arcs for doorways and windows, wedges for roofs, and more. Every single block can be resized along all 3 axes and rotated in any direction. This means you can create architectural styles from any period or culture. Medieval castles with Gothic arches, Japanese temples with curved roofs, modern glass and steel buildings, Victorian mansions, log cabins, and literally anything else. The precision movement system lets you nudge blocks by tiny increments or snap them to a grid. You can offset blocks, overlap them for complex designs, and use different scaling to create intricate details. The building tools include surface alignment. Blocks automatically match the angle of whatever you're building on. Auto rotation and copy-paste functionality. See a complex design element you created, copy it, and place it elsewhere instantly. Rising World also has one of the best interior decoration systems I've seen. Hundreds of furniture items, decorations, and functional objects are available. We're talking complete kitchen sets with stoves, sinks, and refrigerators, bathroom fixtures with working toilets, bathtubs and showers, bedroom furniture with different bed styles, wardrobes and nightstands, workshop tools, paintings, and wall decorations, lighting fixtures from torches to chandeliers to modern lamps, plants and garden decorations, and even musical instruments like the piano I mentioned earlier that you can actually play. The game's crafting system ties into building beautifully. You need workbenches for different crafting categories, but you can build elaborate workshops and factories. The recent updates added machinery like sawmills and smithing equipment that can be incorporated into your builds. What really puts Rising World over the top is the sheer scale you can achieve. The procedurally generated worlds are massive, and there's no build limit. Want to build an entire medieval village with dozens of buildings? Go ahead. A sprawling castle complex with walls, towers, a keep, and surrounding settlements? Absolutely. A modern city with skyscrapers, roads, and infrastructure? It's possible. Players have built functioning schools, elaborate train stations, mansions that rival real architectural works, and even replicas of famous buildings. The cave systems add another dimension. You can build underground bases, excavate your own caverns, or create elaborate underground cities. The mining and terraforming tools let you shape the landscape itself, so you're not limited to building on existing terrain. The multiplayer aspect is fully supported, and the game has a thriving modding community. The plugin API lets developers add new features, and players share their creations constantly. The Steam Workshop integration means you can download complete buildings to place in your world, or share your own masterpieces. Rising World currently has 85% very positive reviews on Steam, and the community is incredibly supportive and creative. The developers are active, constantly adding new features, improving performance, and listening to feedback. They completely rewrote the game engine to improve performance and add even more capabilities, a move that could have alienated the community but was executed so well that players praised it. Now I should mention, Rising World is still in early access, and it shows in some areas. The survival elements are fairly basic. There aren't many hostile creatures, and the gameplay loop besides building is minimal, but that's kind of the point. This game is for people who want to build. The developers have stated they're adding more gameplay elements, but the building will always be the core focus. If you want complete creative freedom, the most powerful building tools available, and the ability to create literally anything you can imagine, from rustic cabins to massive castles to modern architectural marvels, Rising World is the game. This is the ultimate sandbox for builders, and it's #1 for a reason. And there you have it, the top 10 perfect base building games for 2025. From the industrial automation of STARRUPTURE to the medieval grandeur of Noble Legacy to the ultimate creative freedom of Rising World, there's something here for every type of builder. Which game are you diving into first? Are you team medieval city builder, or do you want that industrial factory construction? Maybe you're all about that creative sandbox freedom. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And hey, if you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more base building content. We've got deep dives, building tutorials, and showcases coming up. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some building to do. I'll see you in the next one. Happy building!